Hello, Merry Christmas. I am on an ornament kick and I wanted to show all of you the cool ornament that I just saw them make on TikTok or Instagram or something like that. And it's this really neat star ornament. And what I love about this is it's actually super simple. It uses a really basic origami form and then you glue them together and it creates this cool like pop-up effect star. And then you can either display it or what I'm going to have people do is put a hole through one of the star points and hang it up as a Christmas ornament. So I'm going to show you how. This is going to take 5 sheets of paper, and the trick with this is you don't want to go too big. So this one I made with this piece of paper. It's about 3 inches by, no it's not, it's more like 4 inches by 4 inches. I wouldn't go any bigger than 4 inches, but I am going to fold with larger paper today on this video just so you can really see what I'm doing. So the cool thing about this is we're literally going to make a bird base and glue them all together. So you're going to need 5 sheets of paper. I'd say 4 inches by 4 inches, no bigger, and I wouldn't go much smaller until you've gotten really good at doing this. So if you have patterned paper, which I don't, but if you have patterned paper, you want your pattern facing down. If you have colored paper, it's only colored on one side, you want the color facing down. And the first step we're going to do is to fold this in half into a rectangle by folding one edge to the other edge. This is my preferred way to teach how to make a bird base, but you can check out one of my older videos and I'll show you different ways to do this. So after you fold it into a rectangle, you're going to open it up again. I like to rotate mine because I really like to fold side to side. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold one edge to the other edge to make a rectangle. Once this is done, we're going to fold some diagonals. So I'm going to rotate it so you can see what I'm doing. You have your closed edge and then you have your open edge. You want to take one of your shorter sides and you're going to fold it into a triangle so it lines up with that large open edge, and you're going to use your center crease here as your guideline. So I'm going to take this edge and fold it to this edge, and we're going to line up at our center crease and we're going to crease this down. Then we're going to flip it over so that the open edge is still facing the same direction. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to take our short edge, we're going to fold it to our longer edge, and we're going to use this center line as our guide. So now you have this little triangle. You're going to look at the bottom or that open edge. You're going to see how it opens as I push these outer corners in. You're going to do that. And here we go. We have this perfect diamond. Once you have the diamond, you're going to notice that one end has all these open flaps. You want that facing towards your body. And then what you're going to do is take that bottom diagonal edge and fold it in so it lines up with the center crease. The whole edge is going to line up. So you're not just going to take the point, but you're going to fold the whole edge in, and it's going to make this kind of kite shape. And then we're going to repeat on the other side. We're going to take that bottom edge and fold it in. Now it's going to help to give this a really good crease because the next step is going to be to invert it, so it really helps. But before we get there, we're going to flip it over and we're going to do the same thing because origami is symmetrical. This isn't the best paper. My points here keep tearing, but that's okay. It'll still look good. I'm going to give it a good crease with my nail. You can use a bone creaser, back of scissors, a pen, just something to really give it a nice, crisp, clean crease. Okay, so you have this kite shape. Next, we're going to open up these flaps. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull back the top layer here. And what we want to do is using these creases that we just made, we're going to pop the whole thing in. So I'm going to try and find an angle that shows you that well. You're going to, right on the point here where those lines meet, you're just going to pop it in. And then the rest of it's going to start to follow, and you use your crease lines from before to just guide it into place. It's a super easy step that somehow we overthink and it tends to get complicated. So we're going to do it again. So if you look on the edge here, this is probably the easiest way to do it, is where these lines all intersect. You're going to pop that line in, and then you're going to let the rest of it follow, and you're just going to flatten it out so you have this nice clean kite shape. I'm going to flip it over and repeat. So we're going to open it up right along the edge there where those lines all meet. You're just going to fold it in, and then you're going to let those creases that you did earlier guide the paper the rest of the way and just help it out if it needs it. And one last time. So we're going to turn it so you can see where those lines meet. You're just going to pop it in and then let the lines do the rest of the work for you. That's it. That's pretty easy, right? We gotta do this 4 more times, so we have a total of 5. I'm gonna do one more video, or one more recorded of this so that you can see it real quick. I'm not gonna really give any instructions, and then I'm gonna show you how to connect them all. So okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what we're gonna do is basically glue one flat side to the other and just keep going the whole way around, and then we're gonna glue end to end. I highly recommend a glue stick. What you're gonna wanna do is get glue on every single edge that you can. I did not have access to a glue stick while I'm doing this video, so instead I have a little pile of glue in a paper box that I made and a ginormous paintbrush, but it's still going to do the same thing. In fact, it probably worked even better. When it comes to liquid glue, you want to be careful to not get too much on there, so the paintbrush is nice, but you can also use your finger if you don't have a paintbrush that you want to use. So all I'm going to do is brush my glue on, and you can see that I'm getting it all the way up to the edge. Like every little point should be covered in at least a little bit of glue. It's going to get on your fingers. It's going to get a little messy. It's okay. So once that is covered with glue, I take my next one and I line it up. And I will tap it on the edge so that I'm sure that all these edges line up really good. So I'll kind of tap the edge on the table, and then I make sure that my center point gets in really good, and I'll kind of run my fingers along the edges to help ensure that the glue doesn't stick in between. So this is essentially what we're starting to make. It's pretty cool, right? Because once it opens up, because we're using 5, it gives you this cool star shape in the middle. And then you get all these extra pegs coming off, but it's really kind of fun. So once that is done, we are going to add some more glue. Again, all the way out to the edge. Really kind of coating everything as well as you can. So you have that on. You want to make sure those get nice and lined up. If it's not perfect, I promise it will be okay, but lining it up is the ideal. So I have this little beautiful kind of notebook, which I feel like I should somehow explore this idea. I like to go through real quick to make sure that the flaps that shouldn't be glued down are not accidentally glued down. There, that's stuck, but we will unstuck it. And you'll start being able to tell what should be glued down and what needs some space to breathe. But I think we got it. All right. Now, Once that's done, we're going to do the same thing we've been doing, but this time we're going to get to open it up while we do it. So we're going to take our glue, we're going to paint it on our top form. I need some more. Paint that on all the way down to the point. And move our glue out of the way. And then we're going to carefully open it up. We're going to bring the edges together. Now I'm going to take some care to really line those up. On both sides. Line those up because that's the sides that, these are the edges that are really going to show. Now, like I said, this is much bigger than I recommend going, but this way you're able to see what I was doing. And it creates this beautiful star. I'm going to pull up my smaller one so that you can see what's going on. So it creates this nice star effect. And then you've got like extra pegs sticking out. So when it almost looks like a shining star. Now, when it comes to punching your hole in it, I want you to kind of look at the different edges. And you're going to find that some of these have like extra reinforcement. So like this one, for example, has pattern on both sides, and that way you know that one's a little bit thicker. You can see that it's got an opening on both sides, and that's a pretty good indicator that that might be a good one to poke a hole in. But if you really want to get fancy, I recommend using one that is not overly reinforced, because that way if you tie the ribbon tight, it's not gonna take away from the star pattern. But you can just kind of leave it here as a display piece, or you can again put a hole through it and hang it up as a tree ornament. Either way, it's going to look really pretty, and it took almost no time at all to do. So thank you. I hope that this is a fun way for you to create these ornaments. If you participated in our ornament activity with Marillas, we use recycled stuff. This is a really great thing to do with old wrapping paper that you can just cut down and turn it into an ornament. Again, I highly recommend writing the year on this somewhere. And maybe every year you can create an ornament out of the wrapping paper that you or your family shredded up, right? Well, enjoy. Thank you. Happy holidays.